Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. If you missed my video from about a week ago, I reported that pending home sales have started to decrease despite an increase of housing inventory. This is obviously good news for home buyers right now looking to buy a house who are looking for the housing market to cool off finally. So in today's housing market update, I'm going to be sharing the latest details with you and also some more good news for home buyers and bad news for home sellers. Lots of time went into making this video, so if you get any value out of this video, then I appreciate it if you hit the like button and also consider subscribing as well, because I post housing market updates so you can make a more informed decision about whether or not you should buy or sell a house right now. With that said, let's begin today's housing market update. To give you a quick recap, the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, reported a couple weeks ago that home sales of existing houses and pending home sales both decreased in April of this year. Lots of people have been reporting that this is due to the lack of housing inventory, but the reality is inventory actually increased from March to April this year by 10.5%. On top of this, housing inventory or housing supply has been increasing for 2 straight months. And despite this, home sales have actually decreased for 3 straight months. This is good news for home buyers right now because, at least in the short term, it appears that home buyer demand may be decreasing. If this continues, home prices could decrease in the months to come. Additionally, new home sales in the US have decreased 2 out of the last 3 months. This is despite the fact that the supply of new houses have actually increased this year overall. To quickly summarize this, sales of existing houses, which are not brand new houses, have actually decreased for 3 months in a row, despite the fact that housing inventory has increased for the past 2 months in a row. In addition, pending home sales have started to decrease despite the fact that housing inventory has been increasing. In addition, new home sales have recently started to lag behind despite the fact that housing inventory for new houses has started to increase. But I have more good news for home buyers out there, because the Mortgage Bankers Association, or the MBA, reported recently that mortgage applications for home purchases have decreased once again. They reported that applications for home purchases decreased 3% from 1 week earlier. It doesn't sound like much, right? Only 3% compared to 1 week. No big deal, right? Well, this is a recurring trend, so this is actually a big deal. So this was the 15th time that the home purchase index has decreased in the last 21 weeks since the year has started. Joel Kahn of the MBA stated that mortgage applications decreased for the second week in a row, with the overall index, and the overall index is mortgage applications for refis and home purchases, by the way. So the overall index reached its lowest level since February 2020. Tight housing inventory, obstacles to a faster rate of new construction, and rapidly rising home prices continue to hold back purchase activity. The purchase index declined to its lowest level in over a year and has now decreased year over year for 5 straight weeks. Again, let's be very careful when we're comparing numbers now compared to 1 year ago, because 1 year ago, the economy and the housing market was basically on shutdown. However, the decrease on a week-over-week basis, especially if this trend continues, is definitely something we should pay attention to. If mortgage application numbers continue to decrease for home purchases, along with inventory increasing, this could be an early sign that the housing market is cooling off. And we can see this with home buyer sentiment as well, because that has been decreasing even though household finances have been increasing. And let me explain. According to Fannie Mae's latest survey for May, consumers reported a much greater sense of job security and improved household income compared to the same time last year. However, for the second consecutive month, consumers also reported a significantly more pessimistic view of home buying conditions. Shocker. That component fell to an all-time survey low, with only 35% of respondents believing it's a good time to buy a house, and that's down from 53% in March. So despite the fact that mortgage interest rates are just above all-time record lows, home buyer sentiment is at an all-time low. Fannie Mae stated that consumers appear to be acutely aware of higher home prices and the low supply of houses. I 100% agree with this because as each month goes by, it appears that home prices have been increasing. So much, in fact, for the past 2 months in a row, home prices have reached all-time record highs according to the National Association of Realtors. And despite housing inventory going up over the past 2 months, which is obviously a great sign for home buyers, there still is just under 1.2 million homes listed for sale versus just under 1.5 million from 1 year ago. Because housing inventory is still at historic lows, this is one of the main reasons why houses have been selling for more than their asking price right now. But is that about to change? I noticed that Redfin even reported that the housing market is starting to cool off. They announced that both pending sales and asking prices began to decline or flatten in the 4 weeks ending May 30th. Redfin chief economist Daryl Fairweather said that the housing market was doing 100 miles per hour and now it's doing 80. This is not the bursting of a bubble. Rather, it's a sign that consumers might rather spend their time and money on other things besides housing now that travel, dining, and entertainment are resuming in full force. I agree with this somewhat, but let me give you my honest opinion. So my honest opinion is if home prices continue to increase, then more and more home buyers will get priced out of the market. Therefore, home buyer demand may decrease. And this could cool off the red hot housing market that we have right now. Some things that Redfin reported that may be a sign that the housing market is cooling off is the following. Pending home sales actually fell 3% from the 4-week period ending May 2nd, compared to a 2% increase over the same period in 2019. In addition, asking prices fell $2,500 from the 4-week period ending May 23rd. Meanwhile, records are still being broken when we look at lagging indicators, such as home prices. Home sold prices are really a lagging indicator of a housing market because it's really indicative of what the housing market was 1 to 2 months ago when the home seller accepted an offer from a home buyer. Redfin reported the following records that were broken recently. So a record high median home price of $355,000, that's up a record 24% year over year. A record high of 52% of homes sold for more than their list price. That's up from 26% from the same period a year ago. A record high of 102% of the average sale to list price ratio. This means that the average home sold for 2% more than the asking price. A year ago, it was 1.5%. A record low of 16 days on the market for homes that sold during the period, and that's down from 37 days from the same period in 2020. In addition, almost 57% of homes that went under contract had an accepted offer within the first 2 weeks on the market, just below the 57% record set during the 4-week period ending March 28th. 43.5% of homes that went under contract had an accepted offer within 1 week of hitting the market. That's down from almost 44% that was a record set during the 4-week period ending May 9th. So what are your thoughts about today's housing market update? Leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. You also can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. Hope you have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.